guy decides to buy his girlfriend a new pair of gloves for Christmas. After all, they've only been dating for 3 weeks, and it seems like the ideal gift. Romantic, yet not too personal. He asks the girlfriend's younger sister to accompany him to buy them so she can point out a pair she'd like. They go to the mall, and the sister points out a pair of white gloves, and the guy buys them. Sister then picks up a pair of panties for herself, and she buys those. But during the wrapping process, the clerk mixes up the parcels. As a result, the sister gets the gloves, and the guy takes home the gift box containing the panties without checking. The guy rushes the gift to his sweetheart, but only after drafting this loving and beautiful note to accompany it. I chose these, 'cause I noticed you're not in the habit of wearing any when we go out in the evening. If it had not been for your sister, I would have chosen the long ones with the buttons, but she wears the short ones that are much easier to remove. A manager has a big work project dropping their lap just before Christmas, so they thought they'd call home at lunch to tell their other half that they'd probably be working late. After a few attempts, it wouldn't go through, so they asked their friend if they could use their phone instead. It rings, and the maid picks up. "Hi, can you put my wife on the phone? She's busy." "Busy doing what?" "She's upstairs with her boyfriend." "What?" "I'll give you 100 grand if you get my rifle and kill them both now." Okay. There's a noise of 2 shots and a little bit of screaming and kerfuffle. Maid comes back to the phone, slightly out of breath, and goes, "Okay, it's done. What should I do with the bodies?" "Just toss them in the pool, and I'll figure out the rest when I get in." After a few seconds of silence, the maid says, "Pool, sir?" The manager looks down at his phone in horror and goes, "I called the wrong number." A middle-aged woman goes to a tattoo parlor and asks a tattoo artist to tattoo Thanksgiving on the inside of one of her thighs and Christmas on the other one of her thighs. Tattoo artist is a little bit curious and asks, "Why would you put Thanksgiving on one side and Christmas on the other?" The woman says, "My husband always complains that there's nothing good to eat between Thanksgiving and Christmas." My friend was telling me he went to a Christmas party and ended up picking up these 2 twins. Both of them were dressed as elves. Identical outfits, same makeup, same hair. Basically impossible to tell apart. It went really well. He liked them both, so we decided to date both of them. I asked him, "Don't you ever get confused?" He said no. "Sally's got brown eyes, and Jim has a cock." 3 men die on Christmas Eve and go to heaven, where they're met by St. Peter. In order to get in, he tells them, you must each produce something representative of the holidays. The first man digs into his pocket and pulls out a match and lights it. This represents a candle of hope. Impressed, Peter lets him in. The second man pulls out a tangle of keys and shakes them. These are bells. He's also allowed in too. So Peter says to the third man, "What do you have?" The third man proudly shows him a pair of red panties. "What do these have to do with Christmas?" asked Peter. "They're carols." The 3rd grade teacher asked the class, "Can anyone give us an example of a long compound sentence?" Mary stands up and says, "My mom gets up early every day and she brushes her hair, does her makeup, puts on her prettiest dress, nicest earrings, her high heels, and then she leaves the house to go to work." The teacher says, "Thank you, Mary. Now can anyone give me an example of a simple sentence?" Little Johnny stands up and blurts out, "Mary's mom's is a whore."